Whew. Alrighty. Welcome, everyone. I don't have headphones. Damn it. Bing! That's better. Alright, let's try that again. I'm T, and welcome, everyone. I'm here for poll results and a poll announcement. Let's start with poll results. We're in the midst of 3 polls, bing, 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 in quick succession. So these are the results for the second poll, which is the Friday poll, which is for action-packed to the max. And then we'll be announcing Wednesday's poll, which will be much different. Poll for Friday action. If you're looking for thematic complexity, wait for Wednesday's poll. This is about explosions and punches and magic and shit and getting my world rocked by cool animation and fighting for something worthwhile. 831 responses have come in, and I have yet to go and glance at them yet. I am fairly certain, as are much of my audience, that Dan Da Dan has won this. Dan Da Dan. However, the rankings on everything else, and the potential upset, I don't actually know that it's won. Let's not speak as though it's over. It seems to be, based on what people are saying, but crazier things have happened. The way everything else shakes out will determine how they rank and whether they appear in future polls. And I know that there are a couple of shows in here that people are excited to see if they've got enough support behind them. So let's take a look at our responses. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Okay. That is the expected result. That is a beast of a green bar. Holy shit. Yeah. The surprises here are that Kaiju number 8 people really don't want to see, and Mashley people really don't want to see. Everything else is chillin'. And we're watching Dan Da Dan next. Okay, wrap it up, everybody. Show's over. We're going to watch that show next. I have managed to stay totally blind on it, and so I'm really excited to dive in and find out what people have been so hyped about this show about. Perfect. Wonderful. Dan Da Dan comes next. Let me go and actually collate these into some usable data so that we can take a look and see how things shake up. I think with the visuals, we can see that it looks like Uma Musume is in second place, but it might be like Chorus Recoil. It's hard to tell, and then there's still significant interest in To Be Hero X, which keeps it on my radar. Basically, this works great as a fundamental filter. Things that aren't showing up on future polls, Jigoku Raku, Kaiju number 8, Mashley, people don't care. Like Chorus Recoil, To Be Hero X, and Uma Musume, people care. People care enough, and that enough might be a lot if they're in the right... I mean, if I redid this poll and it was just like Chorus Recoil, To Be Hero X, and Uma Musume, I don't know who wins. It's pretty even right now. I bet, like, Uma, it might be a few votes ahead totaled. Huh, let me go find out. Jesus Christ. 426. Great, we've got a spreadsheet. Yay, spreadsheets! All the data demons freaking the fuck out in the background. I hear you. Okay. Now, at one point I made a little formula that I liked for this, and I should probably go find it. Aha! You there, what magic do you have? Bam! Haha! Holy shit, okay. Let me make sure that the math here is right. Yeah, no, that looks right. So these get, let's talk it through. 1.5 times E2, which is hell yeah, plus D2, which is yeah, right? Minus B2, which is nah. So hell yeahs get 1.5 weight compared to a yeah, and nahs get 1 weight, and mehs even out. It's just a 0. It doesn't matter. Total score for Dan Da Dan, 707. It's pretty fucking high. What was our total on our previous poll that broke things and was all broken? Oh wow. Oh, okay. So wait, but how many responses were there? The total for Dungeon Meshi was 517. How many responses were there on that poll? 759. Holy shit. I have made a great mistake, and the mistake that I've made is that I did not make a big enough Shaku face when I saw the results. That's actually a huge gap. That is a way bigger gap than I expected it to be. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm recontextualizing this, and I'm recognizing that significantly more than half of the audience that responded is interested in Dun Dun. And most of those people are like, please watch this. Okay, yeah, no, that recontextualizes things for me. That makes sense. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. When we look through the numbers, it's Lycoris, then Uma, then To Be Hero X, which is really interesting, but they're so close to each other that I have to imagine they've been skewed pretty immensely by this shit going on over here. So I gotta say, the question that I asked at the beginning, like, I wonder what would happen if I put those three shows in a poll against each other. It's unclear to me who would win, especially with the kind of campaigning that people do to get their show more recognized by people who otherwise wouldn't be interested in. That's a situation where... well, that's a situation where Uma could win. I'm not trying to engineer a situation where Uma could win. I've thought about it. I've thought about it. I'm not trying to. Holy shit. Okay, that's really interesting. Strong negative response to Mashley. Strong negative response to Kaiju. Strong negative response to Jigokuraku. Poof. They're gone. They're gone. We don't need to think about them anymore. I might go watch Jigokuraku on my own because it looks kind of cute. Interesting. So, those are our results. We're going to start watching Dan to Dan very soon. Keep an eye out for it appearing on the Patreon. Now I need to announce the next poll. And I want to talk about what it means to choose shows for the channel, for the show. This is a reaction channel, and so it is defined in large part by the shows that I watch. But because of the nature of this channel, because of the way that I watch anime, because of the time and energy that I invest into it, it's more like a dialogue that I have with the shows. And so what we're sort of deciding is what media populates my mind and what ideas are floating around inside my brain at any given point. Those are going to be determined in large part by the shows that I'm watching at that point. So part of my job, goal, purpose thing is figuring out a suite of shows, a palette of paints that I think produces interesting results and has cool coverage and cool interactions and potential. We've had a few really interesting interactions between shows over the course of the last months and years, and when it comes time like this to sort of sweep out the old and bring in the new, it's a real direction-setting question. What do we watch? For some places, like Tuesday, it's maybe not that difficult. Tuesday's got a lot of churn. We're usually going through fairly short shows fairly quickly, and because they're humorous in nature, they're generally lighter, and they generally don't determine the direction of the whole ship, you know? They're like the fun that we're having on top. Friday, I like to try to keep aligned with that sort of action-y thrust of anime and the cool vibes of fighting and overcoming, because that's it's like a drumbeat that's important to me. And it's been a slot that's been populated by something quite different for quite a while. It's actually been populated by a show that looks like that on the surface maybe, but is absolutely not that, and is instead a third thing, and a thing that I find very valuable, which is deep psychological and social commentary, intrigue, mystery, and character studies, weird philosophical, strange oddities, viewpoints, new viewpoints, strange perspectives, shifts in that perspective. Shows that are ambitious, that are artistic, that say something. That's another piece of the puzzle. And it's one that I think, in part because it's not often the most popular stuff, requires a place to be made for it, requires effort to be put into it. calls out and demands for the kind of invested time and energy that I really like putting into anime. And so, with this third poll having reaffirmed the place for humor and having sort of wrested action back from the grips of psychological intrigue in the form of Vinland Saga, now we're doing Dan to Dan, whatever the fuck that is. It might also not be the thing. This is part of the problem, is like I'm trying not to spoil myself on the shows, and so like I only get to do guesswork as to thinking what I think they'll end up being, and they're not always exactly what I think they are. It's part of the thing, and that's part of a joy. But having, I believe, returned Friday to something fun and actiony, our attention turns to Wednesday. Thursday is spoken for. Throwback Thursday is not going anywhere. Like there needs to be a place for more in-depth shows, there needs to be a place for older shows, for us to continuously dip our feet into the like river of the past and gain inspiration from the people who inspired the shows that we're watching otherwise. It's really important to me that we stay proliferated across time, that we stay involved in the whole of the industry and in not just cherry picking from the last decade, right? Because the whole thing lives and breathes, and it means so much more, I think, when you understand and start to see the patterns and the roots and the connections between things. And I really value that. It's a part of my like need for creative input, and it's part of what I want to put out there in the world. So we come to Wednesday, and I want it to be a place for shows that maybe have slipped through the cracks, shows that aren't going to be the most popular show of the season, that aren't going to be the show that anyone recommends to a new anime watcher who's like, what do I watch this season? But that are going to be the shows that I would call really interesting, that are going to be the shows that over the course of years will stand the test of time because they stick in people's minds, because they become part of the inspirational foundation that inspires those people who are invested in investing themselves in the art. So, my goal has been to figure out a group of shows that fits that. Here's what I've come up with. To start, we take a note from Vinland Saga and we retain historical settings. This is Orb, about the movement of the earth. And I know that it's historical drama. I know that it's about math and astronomy. I know that it's Studio Madhouse. I know that it's 25 episodes, and I know nothing else about it. I know that a lot of the people who've really enjoyed Vinland Saga are obsessed with getting me to watch this next, and will be brigading and fighting for that to happen. I don't have any skin in the game, but they make a good case, and it sounds like a pretty good idea to me. Number 2. Sonny Boy has been hovering in the background for years now. We're coming up on the 5th year of Sonny Boy hovering in the background. Sonny Boy was born into the background, born to be in something like 2nd or 3rd place. It just doesn't fit ever. It's never quite the time, right? It's never quite the right moment for Sonny Boy. And I think that's why it's really important that I keep putting Sonny Boy on polls, because there's clearly enough effort for it. Maybe someday I'll have to dictator it, but I think it gets this chance, because I think it fits this slot maybe better than any other show that I know of. Better, I think, in many ways than Orb, and that's why it gets another chance here. To go against another Madhouse show, we'll see which one wins out. 3rd, a show that constantly pops up on lists and makes me feel like I should have watched it by now. Mystery supernatural suspense, however, it considers itself shonen, and I've probably been spoiled by the fact that it says time travel right here. Too bad. Summertime Render has existed for 3 years now, and people seemed pretty impressed by it when it first emerged, and I think I should probably watch it at some point. I don't think it fits any other slot on my channel better than this one, and so it goes here. And finally, the most recent, Heavenly Delusion. I don't actually know what this one is, but the tags kind of fit, and the vibes that I've gotten off of it kind of fit. Otherwise, I know very little. The through line here should be that I don't really know what these shows are under the surface. I've seen a couple of images of them. I actually had not seen this image, and it makes me deeply far more interested in this show than I was 2 seconds ago. What the fuck is that? It's like Lane, but Spiral, and yeah, I don't know. Oh, okay, that's wild. I don't know what any of these shows actually consist of. I don't know if they actually fit tonally. I want to go exploring. I want to go exploring into the weirder, more artistic side of animation and anime, and these are the shows that I have chosen to be the third poll in order to do that. Poll goes live now. Have at it. Good luck. I hope that whatever show you want to win wins, and I hope that you'll come along and enjoy and watch along with me regardless of what wins, and that we can explore and expand our perspectives together. That's a wrap for this little video announcing the poll results and the next poll. Thanks so much for watching. The poll's on Patreon. It's linked in the description. See you there. Peace.